What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. We've got a 4-game slate on this one. I've got 3 picks which I've put down, which I'm going to take you through today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump into the picks, we do have to recap the last video. Shared 5 picks with you guys. Went 4-1. I was pretty confident I hit 5, but there was a recount. Eamon Thompson had 10 rebounds and like 5 hours after the game, switched back to 9. I'm not going to get upset about it. It is what it is. VIP, 3.95 units, actually 2.95 units if we take the Eamon Thompson play out. Made some profit on such a large slate. I had some bad reads, copped some injuries, had some blowouts that I wasn't expecting. I guess it's all part of the game. 6-4 in our straight bets, not 7-3. Took LaMelo Ball over his assists. He got injured after 9 minutes. That sucks. I bet on Onyeka Okongwu over 2.5 assists. Now, this was a bad bet, and I apologize if you tailed this. I fell in love with his form and the fact that he cashed us out last time. The matchup was awful. I knew that, but I was infatuated by Onyeka, and I paid for it. I also took Jalen Green over 20.5 points. This is a bad bet as well. I fell in love with his form without Jabari. Also, the fact that he cashed out against Boston last time, I was foolish to think that Boston were going to let him do what he did to them last time. So I regret that pick as well. We did have a lot of winners, though. Anthony Davis over 12.5 rebounds, 11 boards in the first quarter. That was the best bet of the day. Daniel Gafford hit his points and rebounds. 25.5. He just finished on 26. Wasn't able to cash any of the bumps, though, given the blowout. But I do have a solution for that, so stick with me. Zion over his points and rebounds prop. He feasted. He covered his points prop, covered his rebound line as well. Jokic triple-double. The Nuggets lost. I was expecting them to pound them and for him to get this triple-double in the third quarter. The Bulls end up winning. Jokic plays a ton of minutes, gets an easy triple-double there. Eamon Thompson, that's a loser now. He had an amazing game. I wish he took his overs for other things, but that's a loss. James Harden hit his over 4.5 rebounds. He finishes with 6. Kawhi Leonard over 16.5 points. We're on the right side of a hook with that one. He finished on 17 points after a very slow start. I was a little bit nervous, but the claw delivered. We cashed on a few value plays, though, and no recounts are going to take this away from us. Zion, 350. Nikola Vucevic, 375. Scotty Barnes at plus 300. And we had a doubles combo with Scotty and Vooch. Here's a look. Firstly, this is the doubles combo. Scotty Barnes and Vooch turned $75 into $475. Scotty Barnes, 20 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 15 to 200. Vucevic, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 15 to 237. Zion, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 15 to 225. So they're all the value bangers. Now, I spoke about a solution earlier, and it's this. So people don't run with my VIP for 2 reasons. It's not because it's not a winning strategy. It's obvious it is. I think about 170 units profit so far this season, but they don't run it for 2 reasons. 1, it's too expensive, and 2, they can't bet value plays on their sports books or on the DFS apps. And I get it, because if you can't bet those things, I wouldn't pay for the VIP the way that it's priced. The VIP is priced the way it is because of all the value plays, which only me and a handful of other people tend to do, and it drives a ton of profit. So what I've done is I've created a brand new plan where you can get all my straight picks, every sport, just every single straight pick that I make. You can get that for $1 a day. You'll see the picks first, and hopefully you get to see them before they bump, a la Daniel Gafford. A lot of people manage to catch him at 25.5, but for a lot of you guys who are probably on YouTube or whatever it may be, you get it a little bit later, these lines move. So if you jump onto that plan, it's $1 a day. Go ahead and check it out. I'll leave it in the video description, and I'll also pin it in the pinned comment as well. So that's where you get all my straight picks. It's more than just what I share on YouTube, anything I find throughout the day, other sports outside of the NBA as well. So go ahead and check that out. But enough about that. Let's get into the picks for today. Let's go. So we're jumping into Props Madness, the best tool you're going to find for betting on NBA player props. Go ahead and check it out. 7-day free trial, video description, and in the pinned comment. Use the code DAFT when you sign up. You'll get 25% off. I do have some tutorials planned for Props Madness in February, so it's a great time to go ahead and get it. Well, let's talk about these picks, shall we? I've got 3 that I'm going to take you through. The very first one is in this Lakers versus 76ers game. I've got a couple of leans here, which I'll take you through later. But the pick that I'm ultimately running with here is Stone Cold Steve Austin Reaves. And I'm taking him for over 6.5 assists today. Now, he's hit this in only 11 out of 27 games. He is projected to play 35 minutes, though. So let's get Props Madness working for us. What I want to do is I want to look at games where he plays between 32 and 38. That does remove a lot of the outliers from the equation. In these games, only 8 out of 27 games is his hit rate. Now, if we filter a little bit further, I want to look at games with Anthony Davis, without LeBron James, and obviously with no D'Lo because he's gone. Suddenly, it looks a little bit better. 5 out of his last 9 games, averaging 7.3 assists per game. If we filter out the top 15 teams in terms of assists allowed, meaning if we take out the bad matchups and leave the average to easy matchups, now he's over this in 3 out of 4 games, averaging 7.8 assists. The Philadelphia 76ers, they do allow the 9th most assists in the league, so the matchup pretty soft. And if we talk about this matchup, he actually played Philly earlier this season. He had 7 assists in only 30 minutes of action. He had 15 potential assists in that game. D'Lo played, and AD, LeBron, he had the whole unit was there, and Reaves managed to cash this out. So the way that I look at this is he's got a similar or maybe even an easier matchup with all the injuries that Philly have. An easier matchup. He is expected to play more minutes than he did last time. D'Lo's not there. His usage rate's going to be a lot higher. I'm actually liking Austin Reaves for 6.5 assists a lot. You can actually get this at great odds as well. Best odds minus 108. Now, if it moves to 7.5, would I take it? I would consider it. I'd only take it if it was at plus money. If it's not at plus money, then I'm not touching it. Moving assists from 7 to 8, it's a pretty big jump. So I'd probably stay away if you don't get it at plus money at 7.5, but I do like Austin Reaves to get 7 assists in this game against Philadelphia. The next pick that I'm running with is also a value play. Heading to the Bucks versus the Blazers, and I'm running with Scoot Henderson. Now, for Scoot Henderson, he's been playing quite well as of late. Minutes go up and down, but what's the breakdown here? He's projected to play 25 minutes in this game. What I'm going to look at is games where he plays between 22 and 28 minutes, 3 minutes on either side, removing all the blowouts. What can we expect to see from him? So looking at that, and I'm specifically looking at his rebounds today. The line's at 2.5. So he's hit this in 10 out of 16 games when he plays between 22 and 28 minutes. The Bucks, they actually allow the second most rebounds to point guard. So this is an excellent matchup. That's based off their last 15 games. What I also like about this is in his last matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks, he had 7 rebounds. An absolute outlier. He absolutely killed it in this one from 8 rebound chance. I did what I normally do. Looked at some film, looked at some matchup data to see what the hell was going on here. And what I found was this. Toumani Camara, Denny Advia. Those two are going to pick up the Dame and Giannis matchups. With all the pick and rolls that Dame and Giannis play, they can both switch. They can both defend the perimeter. They're the best defenders on this Portland Trailblazers team. Initially, I thought, would Scoot Henderson be guarding Dame? And no, he doesn't. Scoot Henderson is going to be defending low-usage players, spot-up shooters on the weak side. Scoot Henderson, very athletic. A lot of these missed shots or Giannis driving to the rim, it's pretty much going to take DeAndre Ayton or Klingon or whoever it is down there. It's going to take them out of commission. It's going to be difficult for them to get boards with Giannis penetrating so hard and Dame attacking the pick and roll. That's where Scoot Henderson comes in. I think he can get a lot of uncontested weak side rebounds in this. We only need 3 rebounds, right? 3 rebounds is all we asked for. He did get 7 last time, but the value play here is I'm also taking him for 5. And for 5 rebounds, you're probably going to get that around plus 350. That's what I'm seeing right now. About to send this out to VIP, but I want to share that with you guys. It's a high value single, really, not necessarily a value play. So I'm taking Scoot for 3 rebounds. I'm also taking him for 5. He should see the minutes. This is also a back-to-back for the Trailblazers. The bench should get an extra run here. So Scoot Henderson, I like him to play about 25 minutes, get a lot of weak side boards here against the Milwaukee Bucks. I think he can dime up and score too. I think some people will look at his PRA, but I think the rebound's probably most reliable. Even though he had an outlier rebounding game against Milwaukee last time where they won, I don't think Milwaukee are going to do anything different to stop Scoot Henderson getting rebounds, right? I don't think that's going to be in the cards at all. This is going to happen in the flow of the game. It's not going to show up on a scouting report, that's for sure. So Scoot Henderson, I like him to go over 2.5 boards, but I'm also playing him at half a unit for him to get 5 rebounds. Now, the last play that I've got for you is in the Jazz versus the Golden State Warriors. And I'm going with Sideshow Bob in this one. And Brandin Podziemski. I'm taking him over 8.5 points. There are some 7.5s available, and if you can catch a 7.5, I'd take a look at that too. I'm taking it for 8.5. That's available on my book. He's projected to play 23 minutes in this game. Taking a good sample size of data. Let's look at games where he plays between 20 and 26 minutes. And what we can see here, Podziemski, he's now over this line in 7 out of 14 games. He is averaging 9.6 points per game, though. What's important is that Draymond is out. Kuminga is out as well. He's got a small sample size of data here. With both of them out, he scored 10 and 17 points, 13.5. With just Draymond out, he's over this line in all 4 games, averaging 13 points per game. And with the games with just Kuminga out, that's the 2 out of the 3, where he's averaging 11.3. So pretty much Brandin Podziemski, extra minutes, extra opportunities without Draymond and without Kuminga. I like him to score some points today. He does have a pretty good matchup. He scores 32% of his points above the break. The Jazz allow the third most points above the break. What I also like about this is Pods. He played the Utah Jazz earlier this season, start of the year actually in October, scored 15 points, played only 25 minutes in that game. And this Golden State Warriors team was pretty much full health at the time. It was a blowout, 41-point win to Utah. So Podziemski managed to get an extra run. Today, the spread's at 11, so there is some more blowout potential here. I think Brandin Podziemski, given that he hasn't seen much game time as of late, he's 2 games back since his injury. He did have about 4 weeks off. He's played 2 games since then. He scored 10 and 17 points, 25 and 24 minutes in both of those. And I think whether there's a blowout or not, Podziemski should see about 25 minutes anyway. So I do like his over. I like him to score some points today. I actually honestly considered just taking him for 10 points. You get that for like plus 120, but let's just get the straight line here. 8.5, Brandin Podziemski taking his over. So those are 3 picks that I've got down already. I'm not absolutely loving this slate, so I can't see a tremendous amount of volume here. But if I do see some opportunities, depending on lineups, depending on projections, if they change, then I'll be sure to get that out to you guys. So if you jump into the new plan for straight picks, you guys will definitely see any new straight bets that I do happen to come up with. I also ask that you like the video, subscribe to the channel. It is a new one after all. For those of you asking what happened to the last one, it's been paused. You could just say that. It's been paused. It should be back in about 5 or 6 days. But in the meantime, running this channel to make sure I get some content out to you guys. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. You can say whatever you like. Did your book, did they take your money after the Amon Thompson recount? Did they let you keep it? I know my book specifically hasn't taken the money away. They're just still cashing it out as a green. So we'll see what happens. Let me know down low in the comment section. You can say absolutely anything. Just help get this video out to more people. Now, I do have a list of leans. These are some bets that I did consider. Loved them for some reasons. Didn't choose to take them for others. I'll take you through that. And if it's something that you're supportive of, something you want to run with, feel free to play the bet. If not, just stay away the way that I have. So let's get into it, boys. Let's go. Jazz Warriors, the lean that I have at the moment is on Steph Curry. It's over 7.5 assists. And the reason why it's a lean is because I absolutely love this at 6.5. I spotted it maybe 6-7 hours ago, but I had a basketball game and some things to do. So I'm getting to my picks a little bit later than normal. And this line got absolutely smashed. It was like minus 115 when I saw it at 6.5. It's now moved to 7.5 in most places. And at 7.5, I don't love it as much, but let me explain to you the whole thought process. So Steph Curry, he's projected to play 33 minutes in this game. Looking at the games where he plays between 30 and 36 minutes, Steph Curry's over this line in 14 out of 23 games. But if we take a look at the games without Jonathan Kuminga, without Draymond Green, Steph Curry's over this line of 6.5 in every single game. At 7.5, he's only over this line in 2 out of the 4, but he is averaging 8.8 assists. Now, he has an excellent matchup here. The Jazz, they allow the 5th most assists in the league, so he should be able to cook them, right? But let me take you back to only a few days ago against the Chicago Bulls. They also allow a ton of assists. Steph Curry only had 7 assists in that game from 17 potentials, no Kuminga, no Draymond Green. And the reason why he only finished on 7 assists is because he only played 31 minutes. 31 minutes because the Golden State Warriors blew the Bulls out. And if there's ever a blowout, the first person you're going to sit is Steph Curry. An 11-point spread in this one. There's a chance that the Warriors blow them out as well, which means Steph Curry's not going to see as much game time. If he plays about 30 minutes, he's good for about 7 assists, in my opinion. So that's one thing to be worried about. I know a lot of people are probably going to bet this. They're going to share it. They're going to talk about his hit rate without Draymond and the matchup being great. But nobody's talking about the blowout. The blowout could happen. If the blowout does happen, Steph Curry is not going to see the game time. And I wouldn't be surprised if he finished on 7 assists on the dot. So that's my only hesitation. If you catch this at 7 at good odds and go for it, you could play it at 7 assists and then like dejuice it and add some other stuff. But I'm not really rolling that way. I've got to get these picks out to other people. Not everyone's going to have the same dejuices available. And yeah, I think 7.5 is not the best line. I'm not interested in it, but if you are, go ahead and take it. But Steph Curry at 6.5, I would have loved it to death. I would have said that's a blowout proof. The 7.5, not so much. The other lean that I have, though, is in the first game between the Lakers and the 76ers. And I was leaning hard here on Tyrese Maxey to go under his rebound prop, under 4.5. Now, he's projected to play 41 minutes in this game, which is crazy. 41 minutes, but this is Maxey. 76ers have beat up. He's going to see some game time. So I looked at games where he saw 37 and 45 minutes. Nice little range there. He's only gone over this line in 7 out of 24 games. So The hit rate is nice. Even if we look at the games without Embiid, without Paul George, even without Drummond as well, what happens here? It's 2 out of 3. Let's get rid of the Drummond thing. Bigger sample. No Paul George, no Embiid. He's only gone over this line in 2 out of 9. So he's gone under in 7 out of 9 games. 3.2 as an average. Now, if you look at the matchup here against the Lakers on the season, they allow the 6th fewest rebounds to point guards. And over the last 15 games, they allow the 2nd fewest rebounds to point guards. So the matchup suits the under here. Now, why didn't I take it? The reason why I didn't take it is because the odds suck now. Like, these odds move real quick. The best odds I could probably get is Bet365, and that's minus 150. Now, that's a whole lot of juice, and I don't drink that much juice. There's too much sugar in it. It's not good for your health, not good for your teeth. I'm going to have to pass on Maxey. If it's a good parlay play, I guess. If you're going to parlay a ton of things together, Maxey under his 4.5 assists, I like it. But for me, betting it straight, I'm not overly interested in taking Maxey at these odds. That's the only reason I'm passing on it. Outside of that, I think it's a great pick. Now, the last lean that I've got for you is for Trey Young. Looking at under 10.5 assists for him. And the whole idea here is that he's playing the Houston Rockets. I've spoken about the Houston Rockets and how they play defense so many times. Pretty much Houston Rockets allow the 2nd fewest assists in the league. They got the 4th best defensive rating. They're not going to double team. They're not going to help. They're going to force Trey Young to shoot, yada, yada, yada. The assists might be difficult for him. The challenge here with Trey Young, he's not always impacted by the bloody matchup. Like, in tough matchups, sometimes he just does whatever he wants and kills it. In easy matchups, sometimes he just sucks. So Trey Young, one of those guys where the matchup isn't totally dependent on how he plays. But he's projected to play 37 minutes in this game. Let's take a look at games between 34 and 40 minutes for Trey Young. 34 and 40. And this, we can see he's hit this in 16 out of his last 27. But I want to look at the games without Jalen Johnson. So without Jalen Johnson, when he sees these types of minutes, he's hit this line in 3 out of 7 games he's gone over. Averages 11.3 assists. Now, this is somewhat going to be a sweat-free bet if you choose to take it. He's either going to blow these assists out of the water because his usage rate is going to be so high and the Atlanta Hawks are going to actually make some buckets, or he's not going to get close. The Rockets are going to pound Atlanta. They're going to cave Atlanta's head in. I don't know. It depends on which side of the coin you're on. The spread for this game is only 6 points, which means Atlanta should be able to keep it close, right? I would have expected a bigger spread here. But if Atlanta are going to keep it close, you'd assume Trey Young's going to have something to do with it. He might be able to rack up those assists. So taking an under on someone who averages so many assists, it scares me a little bit. Similar types of players have gone under, though. Cade Cunningham, Halliburton, Harden, Doncic, they've all gone under when they played against the Rockets. Cunningham did go over once, but for the most part, it's a tough-ass matchup. The odds that you're getting for the under here are okay as well. Best odds are about minus 130 at the moment. So even that, like, if I'm going to play an under, I need some excellent odds, you know? At minus 130, I'm not overly keen on that, but it does make a ton of sense. The matchup is awful. There does have blowout potential. There's no Jalen Johnson, so I get all that, but I don't know. I took it under on Trey Young in a very similar matchup, and this was earlier in January. It was this game here against the Los Angeles Clippers, and my whole angle in that game was the Clippers should blow them out. There's no Jalen Johnson. Trey Young should struggle to get these assists. Yeah, the Clippers blew them out. They won by 26, but the Clippers were just mucking around that whole game. They looked like a wreck game. They're just mucking around, running up and down the court. Trey Young had 28 potential assists in 34 minutes. Like, it was just stupid. It's like everybody in that arena, including the players, knew that the Clippers were going to blast them anyway, so they were just casually just playing basketball, and Trey Young was just racking up assists for fun. It was a ridiculous game, and I'm worried that something like that might happen in this. So I'm choosing to stay away here, but it makes a lot of sense. Now, I do want to talk about one other lean. Now, some people will say this is brave. Some will think I'm a genius if this lands. Some of you probably are going to think I'm an absolute idiot. And I'm looking at Amon Thompson here, and I'm looking at taking his under points, rebounds, and assists. So I think the best place at the moment, it's at 33. That actually moved down. So maybe I'm not the only person with this idea. But Amon Thompson, looking at an under in his PRA, he's been playing out of his mind as of late, especially since Jabari Smith Jr. has been out. Take a look. He's gone over his PRA in 7 out of 10 games, averaging 35.1 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, let me explain to you why I'm considering an under here. So Amon Thompson, looking at my projections, he's projected to play only 32 minutes in this game, which is strange. This most recent game against the Boston Celtics, he was projected to play 39 minutes. He ends up playing 41 minutes, right? So in this game, he's projected to play 32. It's actually the lowest out of all of the Houston Rockets starters. And if I do my normal research around these projections, let's say he plays between, let's go with 35 as a max. So we're looking at 3 minutes over. Let's go 29 to 35 minutes, right? Take a look at his PRA when he plays between 29 and 35 minutes. He's only hit this line once out of his last 10 games, averaging 23.8 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, if you trust those projections, the unders are a really good play. Do I trust the projections? In a way, I do. Like, this whole time I've been doing a lot better is because I've been relying on the projections a lot more instead of looking at how many minutes have they been playing and then expecting them to keep playing that. Now, my whole thought process around this projection is that the Houston Rockets are on a back-to-back. Amon Thompson played the most minutes out of anybody in that game. He played 41 minutes. Not a lazy 41 either. This man be hustling, dunking, scoring, rebounding. Not enough rebounds, but doing everything, right? My man was balling out. This Houston Rockets team, they're favored to win this game. They are on a back-to-back, but they also have a deep bench. They also have Jalen Green, who didn't play as many minutes against Boston. Like, they have other wings, like Tyrese, for example, who can come in, do what Amon Thompson is doing. Not as good as him, but do it well enough to beat the Atlanta Hawks. And I'm just thinking, if the projection is right and Amon Thompson doesn't play the minutes, then he's going to go under this line. Like, forget about the recent form, right? Sportsbooks make the recent form public knowledge. They show it to you. They say, this is how they performed in the last 5 games. And if you looked at Amon Thompson in his last 5 games, you'd think I'm an absolute psychopath for looking at his under here because he's smashed it over his last 5. He's hit this in 4 out of his last 5. In his last 5 games, he's averaging 38.4 points, rebounds, and assists. He also has an excellent matchup here against Atlanta. 4 points, rebounds, and assists. Atlanta don't play defense. They play with a ton of points of pace, so there's going to be a lot of rebounds. They're going to give up a lot of assists as well. Like, if you looked at his matchup, you think this is perfect for absolutely everything. And what I'm saying is, this probably looks too good to be true. So I might be willing to take an under here and look like a crazy person. But if you're aligned with me, you're a little bit crazy as well, and you feel like taking the under, go ahead and take it. I'm going to look like a genius, or I'm going to look like an absolute idiot for even considering it. But that's the game that we're playing right now. Just think about how many times we've looked at a player and everything checks out. Great matchup, all yada, 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 expected to perform well, killed them in the past, all these types of things. And then they suck or they don't get the minutes for whatever reason. Well, that could happen to Amon Thompson today. This is either the worst bet on the board or it's the best one. We'll see. We'll see. Amon Thompson, I'm strongly considering he's under in his PRA. Who knows? I might do a value play on it. I'm not too sure I'm going to land with that one. But I'm going to edit this video, get it out to you guys. I appreciate y'all if you made it this far. Best of luck to you. I do hope you cash out. Let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.